Beautiful friends, it is an amazing time to be alive. As we move closer and closer to the new Earth and these quantum technologies that are going to be literally the game changer for humanity and for our amazing, beautiful planet Earth. But let us also not forget the many tribulations that we are going to have to face along the way. Tribulations that are actually going to aid in our ascension to these new amazing levels of consciousness and into these quantum energy fields. Again, an amazing time to be alive in what we're about to witness. We are currently bathing in this amazing paradigm shift. A paradigm shift that is accompanied by quantum reality and the awakening that's going to lift us all up to this Christ consciousness, as they call it. A point where humanity and all of the people finally realize what our fullest potentials are. That's the thing. We don't realize how amazing and powerful we are as beings. We don't utilize many of the things that we are able to do because we don't know we can do it. Like telepathy, for example, and many other things. Connecting with loved ones in spirit and doing that without actually having to see a medium. Things that we will be able to do in the future on our own. Again, an amazing time to be alive. I'm going to fill you in on all that today. And speaking of tribulations, of course, there's so much occurring in the world right now, especially with this new administration that's going into place in the United States. But also, we've had many other newly elected officials all around the globe. We see Trudeau stepping out. We see so many changes in power all over the world, as was predicted for 2023's predictions. All put into place, of course, by the Great Spirit, our great divine creator, putting all these changes in place, basically to shake things up, friends, to shake things up and bring about these amazing changes that lie in the not far off future. Again, exciting time to be alive, friends. Exciting. Over the past week, we've seen this polar vortex of cold air sweeping through the United States, bringing snow to places like New Jersey and even Florida, friends, where they haven't seen snow in Jersey in quite some time, in Pennsylvania too. While here in Arizona, we also had our first snow and precipitation in over 100 days. Months, over 3 months, almost 4 months of no precipitation here, which is really, really unusual. Our friends again in Florida found themselves with this wintry white stuff covering their beaches. Now, even though they're not supposed to get snow there, right? That part of Florida anyway. It's rare if they do. This just shows that the weather systems are about to mix up like bingo balls in a cage. Mix up like craziness. We're going to talk about that today and the drought that's hitting the southern hemisphere and what's going on for our friends down under in Australia with wildfires and visions I have for that area of the globe today too. In the past, Spirit told us that there was going to be tons of celebrity arrests. Remember? I said that about at least 3 years ago. Maybe even further back, maybe even back to 2017. And all these truths that were going to come out with criminal actions of celebrities and political heads, along with the truth of these little ones that are being held against their will, and accompanied by the horrific stories of abuse and other sinister actions that are going on behind their closed doors. Well, one of those arrests did take place, and for some reason, I don't know why, mass media doesn't seem to be talking about it very much. Wonder why that is. We're going to talk about it today, and I'm going to tell you who it is and who else might be along the way, because there's a lot more to come, friends. So much more to come. So much. We're also hearing more and more about the bird bug and its transfer over to humans. At the same time, we're hearing from the new administration, and since the inauguration, about this Stargate program, right? A program that one would think would have something to do with the stars, right? But nope, it doesn't. It has everything to do with artificial intelligence and the sudden desire they have to cure diseases like the Big C. Why all of a sudden? Millions, probably billions have been put into cancer research and all this. And now all of a sudden they're going to do it with AI. I think they already did it. Actually, I know they did. There's patents on it. But that's another story. After millions of dollars. Interesting. And now they're going to put $500 billion into this program over the next 4 years. What's that come out to? $125 billion a year. It's a lot of dough, friends. Imagine what that could do to help people. People like in LA or North Carolina or anywhere else in the world where we really need this money to go. It's really interesting. So will AI present this cure that's coming? And how true is this? And how concerned should we be about this bird bug? Because the bird bug, is spreading across the globe. And I got some news for you. Some news that is rather more positive than negative, actually. So you're going to want to hear about that and the bird bug and the potential for other outbreaks in the future. Remember my friend's dream and how it related to some type of tampering or something going on with soda pop? Remember that? Especially the Coca kind, and other cola brands? Perhaps, again, a tainting of the drinks? Well, ironically, Coca-Cola products were just recalled in Europe. And I'll tell you about this today, along with helping you to feed that prediction addiction on this episode number 151 of Tuesday's Tittle Teatime Predictions Update. And it's that time again, friends.
It's Tittle Teatime, baby.
Tribe, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. My name is Joseph Tittel, aka Spiritman JT, and I welcome you with big air hugs, friends. Big air hugs. If you're new here, you want accurate predictions, prophecy, truth, great content, you want to vibe with this awesome tribe, you do have to smash that there subscribe, the bell and all, so that you get notifications. And please do show your love by hitting that thumbs up love button so that we can get this content out to more people, make our tribe bigger, and also it will allow other content similar to this content to show up on your feed. So if you like this kind of content from other content providers, definitely click that thumbs up button, friends. Definitely. You want that stuff to show up on your feed. Down below, you will find the link to the free newsletter, and the newsletter will be going out by the end of the week, I would suppose. February is right around the corner. I'll also be putting out February's forecast and predictions. That'll be out by the end of the week. Probably Thursday is where I'm shooting for. Maybe Wednesday, but definitely by Thursday. I also have a video coming out tomorrow, actually, on Trump predictions, specifically about the Donald Trump administration, United States, and predictions revolved around that. It's about an hour-long piece. It's already done and edited. My friends on Subscribestar already watched it, or they can if they want to. And if you want to be a part of that group on Subscribestar, the link's down below, along with all my other social media links. And if you want more information, private sessions, go directly to my website, Joseph Tittel, Tittel.com, or SpiritmanJT.com. Also, if you get a message on any social media platform, especially TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram, that appears to be me, I assure you, it is not me. So please report those profiles immediately. Let us move on now, friends, to our episode number 151. Well, friends, we are finally about to step out and exit that waning moon cycle in the sign of Cancer. Remember that full moon in Cancer? Which over the past few weeks, you may have likely experienced some points where you had very restless sleep patterns, maybe brought about way more emotions than usual. Even a heightened in mental illness and people dealing with that. Well, that's almost out in less than 24 hours. This cycle also brought a huge heightening to our intuitive abilities. Not only that, but also our ability to realize what it is that we truly want to welcome into our lives. Have you had that epiphany over the past few weeks? I hope you did. And if not, you still got less than 24 hours. You could still have those epiphanies. What is it that you want to welcome into your life? I remind you, friends, as I remind my clients all the time on a daily basis, the universe is literally your Uber driver, just sitting back waiting for the destination that you provide to the universe. Except it appears that most humans, most of us, I did at one point in time too until I learned all this, most humans have been driving around in circles, or going around in loops for God knows how long, trying to figure things out and trying to give the Uber driver directions to your destination instead. We try way too hard to figure things out when you don't have to. Remember, Uber never allows you to give them directions. The universe will allow you, but you're just sabotaging yourself, friends. Instead, they just want a destination, just an address. When I lived on the East Coast, I used to say every day, my Joseph is living out west on the West Coast, and I had a list I read every day. When I did that, that manifested in just over a year. For years, I tried to figure out how I was going to do it, sabotaged and failed. Once I put out that vision of the future, it all just started to roll in, friends. And with this new moon that's ringing in tomorrow in the sign of Aquarius, what a perfect time for all of us to create our visions of the future, our destination in the future. Where is it that you are in the future? Not where you hope to be, not where you want to be, but where you are, confidently knowing, I don't know how, but come hell or high water, I already know I'm there in the future. Celebrate it each and every day. Get excited about it. That's the key to manifesting and in the future. And if you don't have a vision, or at least a destination of some sort, give it a little bit of time. Don't be so hard on yourself. You will remain stuck in these loops over and over until you come up with that vision, though. So you need to have some type of a vision of where you are in the future. Do not, again, try to figure out how you're going to achieve these visions. Instead, know that you're already there in the future, that you already achieved this success in the future. And then, again, overwhelm yourself with excitement for what lies ahead in your future. The more excited you get, the more exciting your future will become. And the more you focus on those blessings and miracles, the more blessings and miracles that are going to flow into your life. The more we complain and find things to complain about, the more universe is going to provide us with things to complain about. Don't want that. So the new moon in Aquarius can actually really help us to find more balance in our lives and to help balance out any situations that you may currently have going on right now. This new moon can bring with it new alliances. So we may see that with different countries. We really need to see that. And likely it's going to bring with it these groundbreaking policies that you're going to notice are aimed at creating equitable and sustainable futures. Sustainability, you're going to hear that word a lot over the next few weeks. Big time. So be sure to plant your seeds, friends. Plant your seeds of your intentions and your visions of the future, starting tomorrow when this new moon kicks in, because it's an awesome new moon cycle. And, a great opportunity to make your future even more amazing than it already is. Now, coming up on the 30th, we have Uranus stationing direct in Taurus. Ooh, the bull. This is certainly going to bring in interesting waves of energy, to say the least. Very interesting waves of energy. This is also, the planet Uranus is the planet of sudden changes. Very sudden changes, and also can bring about revolutions. And revolutions is something we are definitely going to be seeing in 2025 and beyond. Lots of revolutions taking place across the globe. I see revolutions happening in the UK and in France as we continue to see these shifts in power, and many other leaders that are going to fall out of power. So many more to go. Many are actually going to be taken out of power one way or another, whether it's taken out like they tried to do to DT back in July of 2023, or whether it's other methods, or the good Lord himself coming down and taking them out. Lots of changes in power again. And then with this Uranus shifting into Taurus, we can also expect these big themes when it comes to the financial systems, sustainability, and personal values. The economy, you notice the stocks are dropping significantly. Bitcoin's still doing great, though. It will continue to do great, but it's all going to come down, friends, eventually. It's all. And really, probably the safest place would be in some of the cryptocurrencies over the actual markets itself, because some of them are going to do way better, while all the others begin to fall and collapse. And we see a lot of stocks have gone down some 50% over the past, since the inauguration, actually. So that's a big thing that we're going to see. The big ups and downs. It's a roller coaster with the economy this year. Roller coaster. And that 9 vibration is going to bring things down. That's what the 9 vibration is all about. And 2025 is the 9 universal year in numerology. This energy that's coming in is also going to be a call for adaptability and the willingness to embrace change. Are you, friends, willing to embrace change in your life? Are you? I'm asking you. Yes, I hope you are. because things are going to flow much better when we are not resistant to the coming changes. Change has to happen. Change always ends up being a good thing eventually. So this alignment, as I reported in my January forecast, will bring about advancements in agriculture, and we will likely see bold moves in environmental conservation. Which bold moves in environmental conservation isn't always a good thing, especially when you got radicals involved. But we're going to see it. This alignment can also bring heightened focus on water and on the environmental sustainability. So we see this already occurring in Los Angeles, California, where with the wildfires and the lack of water, the empty reserves, so it's all an influence of Uranus in this alignment. We could also see, as we step into February, more problems revolved around water and the lack of water and even tainted waters. And I also saw different places around the globe having boil water advisories. Even saw a vision of it popping up on the cell phone, boil water advisory. So if it popped up on a cell phone, one of them is going to be here in the United States, but I see this happening all over in February. That's why you got to tune into my February forecast and predictions later this week. And tomorrow's Trump predictions. And I have another prophecy video that will be out on Sunday. It's already recorded. I just got to edit it together. It's a good one. You're not going to want to miss that either. So as I stated in the intro of today's broadcast, it is truly, literally an amazing time to be alive and to witness this major ascension of humanity with these technologies that are going to assist us in making our planet a safer and healthier planet for all of us. Of course, this is not all going to occur overnight. Nothing completely occurs overnight. Well, some things do, but this isn't occurring overnight. This is a process. But more of this process is taking place in this window of time that Spirit spoke about back in 2017, the period of 2025 to 2032. And we just stepped into that period of time, and we already see things flaring up big time with these changes. With this also will come a flood of not so pleasant events that are going to happen, unfortunately. Events that truly need to happen, again, in order to awaken the masses. Sometimes it takes a big slap in the face to awaken people. But I do also remind you that not all people are going to be awakened. Not everybody's meant to be awakened, friends. It's not part of their soul contract. So don't try to awaken people. You're just wasting time. Valuable time that you could be applying to yourself, to your own life, to your own visions, and doing the work on you. We're not here to do the work for everybody else. We're here to do the work for us. So trying to awaken people, some of them, it's just going to be a lost cause. You're putting energy into something that's never going to work. It's like working on a car engine that's never going to run. Don't do it, friends. Don't waste your time. Now, we're currently bathing in this amazing paradigm shift that is accompanied by these quantum realities and the awakening that's going to lift us up to that Christ consciousness. What is Christ consciousness? Well, some people believe that Jesus is going to come back down to the planet Earth. Nothing would surprise me, actually. Wouldn't surprise me at all. But it's more the consciousness. Jesus is coming back to the earth to us all personally and individually. It's going to be more of an individual thing. And that's how we're going to know it's real, because when it comes to us directly, seeing it in the sky or seeing it could be hoaxed by the global elite. Can't believe that. You'll know. When we rise to that level of consciousness, it's that purity of love that we receive when we cross into the heavens. It's going to be heaven on earth. That's why it's interesting, because in the prophecies, many of the prophecies refer to it as the golden age. And now you see DT running with that phrase, the golden age. I thought that was kind of interesting. The golden age. He stole that off the prophecies, no doubt. So there's this point now with this Christ consciousness when humanity's actually going to finally realize what our fullest potentials are. Remember, I said this recently in past predictions, that in the future we will be able to telepathically communicate again, which we are finding in the telepathy files. I think it's called the telepathy files. I told you about that, I think, last week, with the autistic kids, that they are finding out are communicating telepathically. So maybe these autistic kids aren't, there's not a problem with them. Maybe the problem is us, and they're communicating quite well on a different level, different vibration, maybe in a quantum energy field. But soon time will tell. It's going to be really interesting. Very, very interesting. And again, when we realize our fullest potentials, That's the darkness on the planet. The evil on the planet is going to fight to stay alive. But the light is just going to continue to shine brighter and brighter, friends. Brighter and brighter each and every day, each and every year. Really. In turn, this is going to bring out, of course, all the corruption and moving society into this much more positive light. It's a wonderful thing. Like I said, friends, keep focusing on it. It's an amazing time to be alive. It's just the crazy events, of course, that are going to play out, like natural disasters or not so natural disasters. If you know what I mean, wink, wink. Quantum technologies, including quantum computer systems, and even cellular devices will be quantum in the future. Quantum related. A future where we are moving at a much faster pace in the future too, which seems much fast. The world's moving at a faster pace, but we're more laid back and relaxed about it, if that makes any sense at all. But that's the way Spirit said. Everything's going to be moving at a super fast pace, except for us, basically. We'll be laid back and we'll be moving fast too. But technologies aren't going to be able to keep up. They're not going to be able to keep up. That's going to be the interesting thing. And I would, in turn, tell you to expect huge debates over power consumption. Because these servers and all, they suck up ridiculous amounts of energy. Ridiculous amounts of energy. They don't tell you about that. They tell you, like, certain areas like California, don't run your air conditioner or what have you, and then they have rolling blackouts. Why don't they do that to the servers? If they turn them off, there'd be plenty of energy and electricity. And then the consumption that's going to be used by these quantum systems is going to be even more ridiculous amounts of energy. And they already have these systems. They just haven't introduced them to us yet. They will, starting this year and coming up, especially even more next year when we're in the one vibration of new beginnings, new inventions, new creations. It's going to be amazing, actually. There is going to also eventually be breakthroughs in energy, using, of course, the Earth's magnetic fields to create natural, safe energy, just like the ancient Egyptians did, and the Lemurians, and the Atlanteans, and all the rest of them. See, they just can't make money off of that. That's going to stop. The oligarchs and the billionaires need to fall. They hold 90% of the wealth in the world. We get this little 10% to share amongst all of us. Not cool. Being that water is a very huge focus with the current astrological alignments, I decided to look deeper into numbers and numerology and how they relate to the elements earth, air, fire, and water. I actually never thought about doing that before and told this morning. And interesting enough, fire is represented by the numbers 1, the number 3, and the number 9. And we happen to be in a 9 universal year in numerology for 2025. January was a 1 vibrational month. It matches up this year. You always add the year we're in to the month. Like last year, we were in the 8 vibration, so January was a 9 vibrational month. This year, it's a 1. So we had both the 1 and the 9 vibration kicking in January, representing fire, followed by the largest wildfires ever to devastate the state of California. And I would expect more fires to break out before this month ends, not just California, but around the globe, including for our friends down under in Australia. With the 3 also representing fire, now we could easily predict that there's likely going to be major wildfires breaking out in the month of March, and then again in the month of September when we're in the double 9 energy, 9 month, 9 year. When we look at the element of water, the numbers that correspond with water is the number 2, the number 7, and the number 22. 22 master number. I'm a 22 master number birthday. Now in 2025, when I look at those numbers, 2, 7, and 22, the 7 really jumps out at me. As I called March, every year I pick 3 months that are the most intense energetically. And this year I picked March, I picked July, and I picked November as the most intense months of 2025. We can not leave out this very strong potential that we are going to see major flooding in the month of February, being that water is represented, the element of water is represented by the number 2. We can also likely see that in November, because November will also be a 2 vibration when it comes to waters, problems with waters, and anything related to water at all. Very strong potentials. I see major flooding hitting in February, even more so when July hits. July could very well be the month that we see these huge tsunamis taking place. And that's one of the most intense months of the year, the summer months. Expect something big in March. Expect something huge in July and something even larger hitting in November. It's going to be wild, friends. But again, potential water-related issues when it comes to those periods of time, February, November, and July. And then any date the 22nd, now we know if we see a big storm coming in on the 22nd, that it's going to cause lots of flooding. We know that about the number 29 as well, because 29 is a 11 vibration. 11 vibrations, big storms and things happen. Hurricane Katrina hit on an 11. Hurricane Sandy hit on an 11 vibration. So it all works out when it comes to the numbers. Now moving on to air, which is represented by the numbers 5, 6, and 11. The other master number, which is interesting if we think about that. The 11 is represented by air, and that 11 vibration is when those major hurricanes came in with record-breaking winds. Interesting. Very interesting. Numbers don't lie, friends. So the 5, 6, and the 11, and then we have Earth that's represented by the numbers 4, 6, and 8 vibrations. So we have to take all these numbers into account when it comes to dates and when it comes to months, as being strong potentials for these elements to take place. Elemental events, disasters to take place related to the earth, fire, water, and the air. So going back to air, the 5, 6, and the 11, but actually earth. So the earth, the 4, 6, and 8. So could April be the month where we see massive earthquakes? Maybe even in June as well, and then August. Just strong potentials. And then we always have to look at those dates each month too. Something to keep in mind, because when it comes to numbers never lie. And I never actually thought about looking at what numbers correspond to the elements. Now, the month of April rings very strong to me when it comes to major earthquakes. April is going to be a month that we are flowing out of our first energy shift and the first Mercury retrograde cycle, which starts on March 1st in the pre-shadow. So as we're going in. Now, I found this in my notes. Something I must have said before, but I'll say it again. Sometime between March and April, perhaps even early May, I see global humanitarian. Oh God, I can't say it. Why can't I get that word out of my mouth? Humanitarian. Okay, there we go. I couldn't get it out of my mouth for some reason. Humanitarian crisis and a launch of a humanitarian efforts of some sort. Also, water-related issues around the same window of time, perhaps even tainted waters. So I wrote that a while ago, probably for my 2025 predictions, but I saw that in my notes today and I wanted to throw that in. So sometime between March, April, perhaps even May, huge humanitarian crisis of some sort taking place. Also, water-related issues around that same window of time. So March, April. So going back to the element of water, it would make sense that tsunamis could come in around those time periods, especially in the month of March, and then again in July. Speaking of elements, water, to be more specific, remember my friend's dream that I shared with you? Has a lot of prophetic dreams, and he had a dream about water and soda pop being tainted in some way. Well, lo and behold, friends, the Coca-Cola company just recalled soda pop products throughout Europe. Yeah, because of a chemical called chlorate. Coca-Cola recalls drinks over safety concerns. Now, what's interesting is they say it's not harmful. If it's not harmful, then why are you recalling it? Like sometimes they just do things that just don't make no sense. Why are you recalling it if they don't make any sense, friends? It's crazy to me. Anyway, chlorate, again, they tell us is not harmful. That can't be the case at all. And you can look up and do your own little research on that. I'm not going to read the whole article to you. You can pull it up on your own. But why would they recall a product? They recall products because they're toxic or there's something wrong and they don't want to get sued. Now, what I say about this whole soda pop thing, take some soda pop and go to the junkyard and throw pour a can on top of an old vehicle and watch what happens. Now, what do you think that does to your body's insides? Not good, friends. Now, with Bobby Kennedy stepping in now to stop toxic foods, we are going to see tons of recalls of products and even the banning of many chemicals. It's about time, friends, about time. And the banning of many products. So there's going to be a ban on products. Like all of a sudden, Pringles isn't allowed to be sold anymore. That was just an example, friends. Really wasn't saying Pringles. but it would be pretty crazy if it was. Now, I see a push against energy drinks, especially the evil ones. Do you know about the evil ones? Like Liquid Death and Monster? Do you know what the symbolism on that can of Monster is? They have very dark symbolism, both of them. And remember, words literally affect the molecules in waters. I did a whole piece on that, I think maybe last year or year before, with Dr. Emoto Masaro's work, in proving that positive and negative words affect the molecules in water in a positive or negative effect. So putting that word on there, like death on there or anything like that, that has a negative effect on what's inside that can. It's going to be interesting to see this push to get rid of energy drinks and to make them take certain things out of energy drinks. They need to do that because they're horrible. I used to be addicted to, what were they, rock stars back in the day? Yeah, I don't drink any of that crap anymore. Thank the Lord for that. We're also going to see new forms of farming and indoor farming. That's going to be a big one. Indoor farming. Indoor farming growing significant, like literally boxing in the whole farm. It's going to be very, very interesting. Boxing in the whole farm. Eventually, they're going to begin to choose more healthier products, and actually people are eventually going to begin, they already are, to choose more healthy products and actually read what's on the ingredients in the grocery stores, placing a lot of strain on these big corporations and big companies. Good, they need that strain. The ones who manufacture the junk food, that is. Big strain on junk food companies. We are about to find out more about what is really in our food, and the good bit of it is going to be quite shocking to folks. Quite shocking. You know, we talked, about the red dye. You know how many other types of dyes there are? Why don't they just ban all dyes? Do it naturally, like it used to be done. Why do they have to make everything look colorful? They don't. It's crazy. And I know even in China they put dye in like watermelons and stuff. Crazy. I mean, if they do it there, they probably do it here too. Wouldn't surprise me. Nothing surprises me anymore. It really doesn't. So this is going to force people into making better decisions as to what you decide to put in your body. So again, it's an amazing time to be alive. Let's talk about the bird bug. Speaking of health and food, there's another rise in the price of eggs and chicken that's on our doorsteps as this bird bug becomes more and more of an issue. Supposedly infecting 67 people so far. One of those people did not make it through. But at the same time, that person allegedly had a ton of other health issues. Does it sound a little bit familiar, friends? Like very familiar? I had a vision yesterday of grocery store section where the eggs are kept, and it was completely empty in my vision. It's like I was walking through the grocery store and the whole egg section was empty, which actually was the case during Christmas time over there at the Whole Foods in Sedona. I think maybe the refrigerator was broken or something. Maybe, because the other stores had eggs. I also had a separate vision that I was in the grocery store and a gentleman was pulling the poultry out of the case. A woman walked over and wanted some. He said, "I can't sell it to you, ma'am." While I peered over to the egg section in the same vision, and I saw a female employee pulling the eggs from the shelf. So in the past, I discussed the future where chicken becomes rare, like completely rare. I think eggs will still be around, but people won't be eating chicken so much in the future as they are so much now. What are the little kitties going to do with their chicken nuggets? They need a healthier chicken nugget because those seed oils are no good for you. Speaking of seed oils, actually, that just came out of my mouth before I forget. It's in my notes, but it's not in my notes. Did you see, what's the name of it? What's the name of that company? Right before the inauguration, it's kind of really funny. The shake place, Steak and Shake. The Steak and Shake fast food chain suddenly decided to pull seed oils from all of their chains in the United States, replacing it with something more healthier. I forget what they replaced it with, but I find it really funny that they did that before inauguration, knowing that Bobby Kennedy's going into office and knowing that he's on a vengeance against seed oils. Friends, man, seed oils are in everything. I mean, it's ridiculous how much it's in. Salad dressings, I looked at every salad dressing on the shelf. They all had seed oils. So I bought salad dressing that's made with avocado oil because it's healthier. Not that it's even healthy, but it's healthier for sure. Everything has seed oils. It's crazy. I was looking at everything. I'm like, wow. Nothing that I buy, but A lot of stuff has seed oils. And some of the things that I did buy had it, and I was like, ooh, can't do that anymore. So remember, I suggested stocking up on eggs, and I also suggested stocking up on chicken before prices rise again. What I got was big cans of freeze-dried chicken slices and dices, and I'll probably order more of those for my survival cabinet. So in the future, if there's no chicken, I'll still have chicken, friends, and you could too. Not only that, eggs can be frozen, apparently. Not the whole egg, of course. You can't put the whole egg in the freezer. You can look up online how to freeze eggs. I think you have to scramble them first, and you can put them in bags and freeze them. You can also stock up on powdered, dry, freezed eggs. I have a bag of them in my cabinet. They're actually great for baking, like to bake. Instead of using get those. As a matter of fact, I got to order more of those before they're already pretty pricey. So the bird bug is going to become more and more of a concern as it slowly mutates to humans and then from human to human transmission. But I will also tell you to try your best, friends, not to worry yourself over this bug. It will not be much of a huge concern. It will, but it won't be. Unless you have underlying serious health issues. Then, of course, they're going to push out some type of prevention for this. Of course they are. Prevention. Let's prevent it. Let's cure it instead of preventing it. That sounds better to me. Just like the bug, the 2020 bug. So Big Pharma, Gates, and friends, they want to profit, of course. They're already looking on how much money they can make with this new administration. I find it very disturbing that Gates had a 3-hour meeting with DT. I would love to be the fly on the wall in that room to see what was going on and being said. I don't think that DT trusts him at all. But I don't know. And Gates isn't a doctor. He isn't much of anything, actually, except for a very rich person. Why is he interfering with our medical stuff when you're not a doctor? Because it's all about profit, friends. It's all about profit. And to take more of the wealth from all of us. Do not fall for it, says Spirit. Do not fall for it. This bird bug will eventually be easily brought under control, at least for humans. Perhaps not so much for the birds and the chickens, at least for a little while. But I do feel like they will get this under control. Now, unfortunately, we will see other new outbreaks occurring. One out of Africa and another in China. The outbreak in Africa will be brought under control after small towns or villages are quarantined. What occurs in China may spread up to India, but this also feels temporary, like nothing to really worry about. Just to be mindful of your immune system and being healthy. I'm putting healthy things in your body. Now, remember my past prediction of future lockdowns? Remember, my past predictions revolved around future lockdowns would be more of a voluntary lockdown due to some type of climate situations. That's what would come next. It's going to be more like late 2028 and more so in 2029 when we need to be more concerned about major outbreaks that bring about large losses of life. I feel this occurs first somewhere in Europe, and that's the one we got to look for. When something starts appearing in Europe, that's the one, Spirit says. And it doesn't feel like something, it does actually feel like something that comes out of a laboratory, actually, and is dropped on the people on purpose. It was North Carolina where the bird flu was hitting really bad, and that's just over the past week. We have 2 bird flu preventatives, candidates going into the U.S. stockpile after Moderna was recently awarded $600 million to accelerate the development of a Mr. NA bird flu preventative. I felt that was pretty interesting. We are also hearing from this new administration and since the inauguration about this Stargate program. A program one would think would have to do with the stars, but it doesn't seem to have to do with the stars, friends. It has to do with artificial intelligence. Apparently, they want to do this sudden desire to use this AI to cure diseases like the Big C. But is this even plausible? Friends, they've had cures for that. There's patents on cures for that. There's 2 patents. There's a patent for a cure on the big C, and there's a patent on a cure for Alzheimer's disease as well. And probably many others if you go through the patent list, but there are on the list. You can look them up for yourself. It's fact. And there's going to be more natural ways. You know, you heard that Sam Altman, who creeps me out big. I thought Musk was creepy, but he's creepier. Way creepier. Bad vibes around that dude. And he's the one that wants to do something where they take our DNA and no, thank you. You're not putting my DNA into an AI. Nope, not happening, friends. Not happening. It will do amazing things, though. AI will do amazing things. But the crappy part about this whole thing is the fact that they want to profit from it. Profit using AI to come up with some kind of system where they can, again, profit off of your health. Not cool. Not cool at all. Remember, Mother Earth provided everything. God provided everything on this planet for us to heal. There's so many plants and things in the Amazon jungle that have never even been researched or tested because they can't put a patent on a natural product or natural plants. Even though many pharmaceuticals have some type of plants in them, some type of plant, and just about all of them, you know, a large majority. But then they add a lot of other stuff to it too, not making it fully natural because they can't patent natural things. So we're going to keep an eye on this, and I will go more into this in my Trump prediction video tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that. But as far as the bird bug, friends, I would tell you, don't overly concern yourselves. Don't overly concern yourself. I do see a point, too, where I told you in the past where I see certain places pulling the bird seed off the counters, telling people not to feed the birds. I feed my birds every morning, and my chipmunks, and the woodpeckers, and the blue starlings. All of them. I take care of my little friends in the neighborhood. Arrest and roundups, friends. I'm sure you will recall my past predictions and visions where I saw major roundups and arrests of people being placed on buses, and even celebrity arrests based around criminal actions that involve little ones and those that may be caught up in traffic. Well, yesterday, ICE announced more than 1,000 arrests of alleged bad guys in Chicago. And this is just only the beginning. Now, it's interesting because they were arrested. There's a difference between rounding people up and sending them out and then arresting people. I found that to be interesting. And I guess that would make sense to all these major arrests happening that I saw in visions about 2 years ago. Now, we have not been yet seen them being loaded on buses as I saw in visions. We haven't seen that happen. Instead, what's going on is they're putting them on airplanes, which is really weird. This also has caused major issues between the United States, Mexico, and Colombia. Colombia's leader was very resistant in taking back the criminals that escaped his country and almost brought about the trade wars that I predicted would happen in the future. Thankfully, we bypassed that because I didn't know that a majority of our fresh flowers come from there, cut flowers. As you know, I always have fresh flowers. I have fresh flowers always 2 spots in my house, my altar and in my dining room or living room. And on the set here, the Teatime set. So amongst the arrests comes one that mass media seems to be ignoring, of course. Of course they are. Because it involves a celebrity of sorts. A celebrity cartoonist and a Pulitzer Prize winner, Darren Bell. He was arrested on charges that you see listed in this article headline right here. He was arrested by Sacramento law enforcement and his bail was set at $1 million. One of his one of his famous comics that he does is called Candorville. I'm sure you heard. I never heard of it because I don't look at comics and stuff. But apparently it's very popular and he's very wealthy. I guess that's why they made it $1 million bail. They should have made it $10 million. Spirit says this is nothing in comparison of what is to come, with not only arrests but disturbing truths of what has been going on behind the closed doors of celebrities' homes. Not just celebrities, politicians, and other company heads that are about to see karma come around and slap them silly, friends. Yep, karma's going to come around and slap them silly. Lots of creepy people are about to be exposed for some really, really disturbing things. It's going to be interesting as it comes out. It's also, again, part of the awakening and awakening people to the horrors that are actually happening, behind closed doors. Moving on to some crazy systems that are happening. Very crazy weather systems, that is. Over the past week, we've seen the polar vortex of cold air sweeping through the United States, bringing snow to places like New Jersey, where they haven't seen snow in quite some time, in Pennsylvania, outside of Philadelphia, And I told my friends back east that you would see snow this season after years of seeing nothing. But don't get too excited because you're probably not going to be seeing much more. Some in March, but other than that, mostly rain. Now, here in Arizona, we had our first snow and precipitation in over 100 days, friends. We do get snow here in the upper desert of Arizona because I am above 5,000 feet. If you ever watch weather reports, it's always, snow above 5,000 feet. I can drive a couple miles down the road and it's raining. Down in Sedona in town, it's all rain. Here, snow. I like it though. If it's going to be cold out, I say might as well snow. I don't like the cold at all, but if it's going to be cold, might as well snow. At least it's pretty. We usually here in Arizona get tons of rain and snow this time of year, and it's been super dry. I mean, even my face, I have humidifiers in the house. It's so dry lately, which is odd for this time of year. Now, remember I said folks would see snow in the most unusual places where snow doesn't usually fall. Well, our friends in Florida found their beaches covered in the wintry white snow. And even though it's not supposed to snow in some parts of Florida, some parts do actually get some snow once in a very great while. It's still a rare event, especially where the snow hit in some parts of Florida. I'm waiting to see more snow covering the Sahara Desert in the coming months. I predicted that probably about 10 years ago, I remember, when I did the radio. People said that was crazy. Crazy, it don't snow there. And then it did. And it snowed a couple times in the past 10 years there. And it's going to snow there again. And the Sahara Desert's going to shift and change. And it won't be so much desert anymore, says the spirits. Some of it, but not all of it. It's going to start seeing weather patterns and growth in the Sahara. And then other parts are going to dry out. So we'll see new deserts form while old deserts flourish. That's interesting. So this all shows us that these weather systems are about to mix up like, again, bingo balls in a cage, friends. Droughts hitting parts of the southern hemisphere and our friends in parts of Australia, where they are about to witness sweeping wildfires, friends in Australia down under. We could compare this to Los Angeles in the aspect that I saw high winds suddenly driving fires. So friends in Australia, be aware. Be aware also, you might want to go look up and see where they may have applied to put some of those smart little cities. Because it's, just like LA, just like Hawaii, just like Canada, and Chile, all places where they applied to put a smart city. It's becoming not so much of a conspiracy anymore, friends. Now I see severe flooding hitting parts of northern Australia, and I also feel a significant earthquake hitting just above Australia near those islands there. Is that the Solomon Islands or what's those islands? Y'all know what I mean. Those islands, I see a big shaking that's going to actually shake northern parts of Australia quite a bit. I also see flooding hitting Sydney, Australia, and the small quake causing little to no damage also hitting Sydney, Australia. Speaking of rains and floods, this just popped into my brain. Remember I said that Spirit said that they were going to send rains to California to cause floods and devastation after the fires. Well, apparently that's heading there now. And they're preparing for mudslides and everything. So friends in California, please be safe. And if you're at the bottom of a mountain, please be extra cautious and safe. Now back to the United States and the East Coast, Jersey and the southern parts of the East. They're going to have a bit of a warm-up in February with more rain and less chances of snow. But be aware of major storms right around the full moon, February 12th, and that's everywhere. The northern parts, not just the United States, but everywhere. Be aware of that time period for big events to happen around February 12th. So we'll say from the 10th to the 14th. Now, the northern parts of the United States is going to see record cold temperatures and hits from one storm after another. Huge problems with the snow in the northern areas, New York, which is going to lead to even more major issues with water and flooding come March and April for the upper parts of New York. And I also feel a shaking of the plates occurring beneath or very close to Buffalo, New York. So things going on there too, friends. Things going on there too. And I pretty much, means that I have a full video of predictions for Trump predictions coming out tomorrow. I have my February forecast and predictions coming out by the end of the week. And then I have a prophecy video that I will drop probably on Sunday evening. So keep an eye out for all of those. But today's show, I'm going to keep it short because it's the end of the month and I got a bunch of predictions coming out over the next week. So we're going to leave it with that. Try to keep this as short as possible for today. But friends, remember, be excited. It truly is an amazing time to be alive as we go through this paradigm shift and these quantum realities and awakenings are happening, shifting us into that amazing Christ consciousness. When humanity actually finally realizes what our true fullest potentials are. It's going to be really wild, really exciting. So the things that we're seeing, people are seeing in the sky, not the drones, but the weird orbs and things. A lot of them have always been here. They've always been here. We're becoming more sensitive. We're becoming more intuitive. We're awakening. And as we awake, we're going to be able to see things that we were unable to see before. Some people more than others. And you'll start to see that where people will be like, you see that up in the sky? And you'll see someone will be like, I don't see anything. But some people do. Because like I said earlier in today's broadcast, some people are just not going to awaken. It's not in their soul contract to do so. They're not going to experience and see some of these things. But as time progresses, we all will eventually see. And those that don't have that in their soul contract, they'll exit and probably reincarnate to hurry up and come back to witness the amazing things. Because again, it's an amazing time to be alive. And before we end today's broadcast, I have to do today's mail. I got 2 letters here, 2 cards or what have you. One from Lynn Haven, Florida, from Debbie TT, who did the wonderful painting there of Precious Mary Jean. And then I have another one from Burton, Michigan. Let's do that one first because it's not a name, just a last name. And I won't put last names out because people might not want their last name put out. Ooh, thank you. Ooh, a 10 spot. Joseph, I just wanted to thank you for all you do. I look forward to your videos. Blessings, Emily from Michigan. Michigan? From Burton. Thank you, Emily. Thank you for the 10 spot. I appreciate you. With love and gratitude. And now I have Debbie TT here with a sympathy for your loss. Hope it eases your sorrow and gives you strength to know many heartfelt thoughts and prayers are with you. Sorry this has taken so long to get to you in the mail. Hey, better late than never, darling. Better late than never. So sorry for your loss of your father. I lost both of my parents during the holiday season, and it's very hard. Everyone out of the blue, I get a day of extreme sadness. I call it my blue Christmas. I'll be so blue. My mother was an Elvis fanatic. Well, thank you, Debbie TT. I really appreciate you. May all of the wonderful memories of you have of your dad, and may you heal with love of those you surround. I am so terribly sorry for your loss. Oh, thank you, Debbie TT. I really greatly appreciate that. As I appreciate each and every one of you, remember to check the description down below. The address is there, but please do not send me any more tea. I have tons of tea. Tons of soap, too. I think people are trying to tell me I stink or something. But until the next time, friends, please do hit that thumbs up, love button. Remember to catch my video with predictions coming out tomorrow. The February forecast out by the end of the week. And a big thank you goes out to all the supporters that make this free content possible for everybody else. Whether you're a member of this platform down below, whether you are a member of Subscribestar or contribute to this channel, I couldn't do it without you. I thank you with infinite love and gratitude. Until the next time, beautiful friends, beautiful tribe. Remember to be bold, be true, be kind, be you. Let your light shine. And may you have a beautiful rest of your day. Namaste. Much love.